Now, as said in the first video, the one that came out before this one, I said I was going to talk about something that annoys me greatly when I'm talking about politics with my friends. And it's not even so much the demonization of the left, because the way this country has gone in the last 100 years, that's unavoidable. Basically, it's McCarthyism on steroids now. But the thing that's annoying me greatly is we've let the left go. Now we are. There's a movement, of course. You know all about the movement. Started a couple years ago, and it's an attempt to take back the left. But it's not fast enough, and it has great opposition. Not good opposition, but it has a lot of it, and powerful opposition at that. And if we look at what the left used to represent, if we look at if we look at FDR, he's the reason we have term limits, because he would have kept winning long after his 4 terms. Although I think it was close to the 3, but I think he died. No, I don't. He would have kept winning far after his 4 terms if he didn't scare the GOP so much, and he didn't basically force them, or the GOP semantics, to have term limits on the president. And his ideas were so popular. His social democratic ideas, I figured it out. His social democratic ideas, his taxation, his economic policies, his foreign policies, these were all so good that it scared the right. And then even as far as the political realignment with LBJ, even back then, they were still a class of the party people, a party of the working people, party of the middle class. They were still kind of that. Now, granted, the Republicans were also that before the realignment. You know? Granted, they used to be that. But the Democrats, which I don't like saying Democrats, Republicans. I like saying right and left. But for sake of this video, it's going to be Democrats. The Democrats, let me rephrase. The Republicans used to be center-right to moderate right. But in reaction to what the Democrats did, which is move slightly further right, and this is my, this is my explain it to a 5-year-old, a very smart 5-year-old, but a 5-year-old nonetheless. The Republicans moved far to the right in response to the Democrats moving to the right, and in order to play catch up, as the Democrats do, they moved to the right. So now both parties are on the right now. The Democrats, for the most part, the leadership, and the corporates, the majority. People who are like hardcore Obama, although they're Kool-Aid drinkers, but the people who are hardcore Obama, without realizing probably, are they're center right. And what the sort of whole republic as a whole, of course, there's Scotty Nell Hughes, great people all around. Rand Paul, I would even say. They're not as far on the right as most. Again, I'm generalizing. I apologize. I know that's hypocritical of me, but for the sake of the video, the Republicans as a whole have moved so far right that if we put them on a global stage, they'd be off of the spectrum. The Democrats would be like about halfway off the spectrum. Okay, that's how far left the global politicians, that's how far left international politics are. Democrats who are considered radical left by, I'm just going to use Trump. Joe Biden is considered radical left by Trump. If we put Joe Biden in Parliament, if we put him, he'd be so far right, they'd probably kick him out. I'm not even joking. Honestly, I think that if we put Trump in parliament, oh lord, that'd be it. I want to see that. That's why we need a parliament. Yeah. Remember what I said about those speech impediments. But yeah, so the point of this video, we need to we need to take back being on the left. We need to take back the left with its progressive ideals: Medicare for all, free college, universal basic income. Even thank you, Yang, for that one, because I don't think Bernie was spouting that one. Thank you, Yang. You know, this universal preschool. You know, all these progressive ideals, all these left-wing ideals that are not perpetuated by the so-called left anymore. We need to take it back. We also need to take back the word liberal, because the word liberal means to, here, let me pull up the direct definition. It should be on the little green screen thing right now, but I don't have it in front of my face because I'm a dullard. Because this is the second take, and I thought I was going to use the first one. Liberal definition from Oxford Dictionary: open to new behavior or opinions and willing to discard traditional values. Or if you want to get into the political context, favoring maximum individual liberty in political and social reform. That's the libertarian one. Favorable to or respectful of individual rights and freedoms. Regarding many traditional beliefs as dispensable, invalidated by modern thought, or liable to change. It's just, I don't see how that's an issue. I don't see how the definition of liberal is an issue. Now, the libertarian one, I can see how it's an issue, because if you want, absolutely zero government control, that's when it becomes an issue. But if you're open to change, and without change, nothing happens. We stay the same. Now, I mean, of course, that's by definition. But philosophically, nothing will change. Everything bad will stay bad. Everything good will turn bad, because it eventually won't be enough. Now, of course, some stuff is enough. Some good stuff is enough forever. We can keep it forever. It'll be fine. However, there's plenty of bad in the country's political system. Healthcare, for instance, like calling back to Medicare for all. Healthcare, it's better than it was, but it's still pretty bad. And Trump, in fact, this is being recorded on September 17th. Trump is currently still in court to repeal the rest of Obamacare, which would be, he's repealing the individual mandate, which is probably the worst part, but he's also repealing the, the no denial because of pre-existing conditions, and plenty of other things that make Obamacare better than what it was. He's doing it because Obama, basically, and it's what his base wants, and it's what the people who lord over him wants, because, I'll get into it more in depth in another video, but he ran as a populist, but it was right-wing populism, and it was Trump populism on that. It was faux populism. So he was on every side of every issue. He argued for Medicare for all. He argued for the Scotland model. He argued for tax cuts for the middle class. Of course, he never did. Well, he did that, but it wasn't to how he promised. He promised to get out of the war. Oh, he promised to end the wars. We are still in Afghanistan. We are still in all these places that we shouldn't be in. Now, of course, I'm willing to hear people out on war, because I've not been to war. I'm not overseas. I'm not in the deep state, as it were, as Eisenhower would call it. I'm not in the deep state. But I'm willing to listen. Dan Krishna, that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry, his name just left my mind. The one with the eye patch. Thank you for your service. If you're listening somehow, I'll listen to him all day. I'll have a very pleasant conversation with him about it, and I'll listen because he's been there. Clearly, I mean, it's written on his face. That was a bad joke. It's written on his face that he was there. All over his face. Well, one half. And that's gonna, I'm gonna get hate for that one. Not like anyone watches these. I would listen to him on it. My aunt, who went overseas as a Marine, I'd listen to her in a heartbeat. Never asked her. I've never really cared enough to ask her. I've never cared. I've never really cared enough about politics to have a chance to ask her. But I do care. I'm digging this hole deeper. So, let's recap. Let's recapitulate, if you want to use the full terminology, the video. So I waffled on for about 6 minutes, and then I got into the meat, which was we need to retake the left and we need to retake the word liberal. Okay, if they want to have the word conservative, by all means, please take it. I don't want it anywhere near me. I'm not conservative. I would say on 98% of the issues, I'm not conservative. The only things I am conservative on stem purely from being American and just growing concern things. I'm not even conservative when it comes to teaching kids about sex. I'm one of those teach them young, bro. Don't show by example. I'll make that very clear. Do not Jared Fogle the children, please. We're not Catholics. But Joe Biden is. And just I know I haven't proved myself yet, but listen to me. We need to take back the left. And we're doing it. We are doing it slowly. There are more progressive candidates. And even some of the more corporatists, they're being forced into more progressive ideals, which is terrific. You know, I don't know if Jamie Harrison, I live in South Carolina, I don't know if Jamie Harrison was always expanded Medicaid, Medicare, not Medicare for all. I think he would be a lot better suited to vote for a public option. Well, I want Medicare for all or nothing. Medicare for one, Medicare for all. Of course, we can start that at the state level and then see if it'll work for us, and then we can figure it out from there. Of course. 10th Amendment. It's perfect for one of these. But yeah, Jamie Harrison, he supports legalizing marijuana. Now, of course, that might just be in part of ending the drug war, which would in turn, I'm not gonna say end racism, but it would prevent some systemic racism, because it's a whole thing. The drug war, it's in purport. It's just, yeah, okay. You can, if you want in depth on that one, Dr. Cornel West or Kyle Kulinski, they both, in my mind, do it. Ooh, or I think Richard Dawkins does it too. It's all great. Sam Harris too. A lot of progressives. And yeah, no, sorry. I witter on a lot. I waffle. I have a one-track mind, but that track has a lot of detours on it. Yeah, no, sorry. This is a 14-minute video. How'd I do that? All I wanted to do was say retake the left. I went into a whole Trump Biden debate. I went into a whole how Biden is center right. I'm still doing it. I need to stop. I need to script these, but I'm not going to. I'm better this way.